The construction of an enemy has a powerful role in moral discourse. When I was way back when in graduate school, one of my classes was Psychology of Violence, and we read a book called The Roots of Evil by Erwin Staub, who's a social psychologist. And he was studying genocide movements. And you write the classic question, how could this have happened? How could Hitler have happened? He looks at 5 genocide movements and then kind of the precursors. And there's a number of commonalities, but one of the strong commonalities was a group has to identify an enemy in order to bolster its own sense of rightness and its own sense of identity. And we see this played out quite a bit, right? And so it's not just that it may not even be an actual enemy, but there's always this there's always a sense that an enemy gets constructed that might not bear any reality to who that group actually is. So, the classic case that we see was the Holocaust and the construction of Jewish populations as a particular way. And therefore, the rightness of a group is demonstrated, proved, whatever language you want to use, in light of the enemy. And I think we see that dynamic a lot. So I do think you're making an important connection, because it really comes to a point what justifies harm against an enemy. And we can have all sorts of justifications, right? And I think Staub is really onto something when one's own sense of identity is threatened. Reinhold Niebuhr, who was a social ethicist, back in the 40s and 50s, had this really interesting language of group pride then. When a group's identity feels threatened, an enemy, if one does not exist, has to be constructed, and all sorts of things can be justified then.